Hi everyone, and I just want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. I really appreciate every single one of you subscribing to my channel and leaving your comments and sharing my videos. So something I want to talk about today is I'm going to do a book review. So get ready, there's 5 books here. Now because I want to keep this short, I'm not going to do a full review of the books. These are all books that I use within my counselling practice. I've used them with couples, I've used them with individuals, and it's usually exercises or chapters from the books that I've recommended. But rather than me make a lengthy book review, and you can find some on my channel anyway, I just want to give you a brief overview of each book, and there might be book titles here that you might want to go and purchase yourself. So the first one is called Can We Start Again Please? 20 Questions to Fall Back in Love, and it's by Andrew G. Marshall. So the main concept of this book is, as you can see, it's quite a thin book, so it's got really short chapters, easy to understand, and the main purpose of the book is to talk about if you're a couple where you're just not connecting as much, or you feel like you're falling out of love, or the relationship isn't the same. It gives you some strategies, some tips. It says one of the chapters is why you fell out of love in the first place. It gives you an opportunity to explore that. How you can get the spark back in your sex life. It gives you some tips there. And 20 questions to fall back in love. So it gives you things like exercises you can do as a couple, some questions you can ask yourself. But overall, I think it's a really good book. I'd probably give it maybe 8.5, 9 out of 10. I've used this book quite a lot. I've given some exercises to the couples I've worked with. So the second book, this is another book that I really like, and it's called Get Into I Do by Dr. Patricia Allen. Now I've done a separate book review of this book. I think I've done 2. You can find them on my channel. I think it's got about over 1,000 views, so quite a lot of people were interested. This book it's for single people. It's mainly focused on women, but it is for if you're single and you want to get married eventually. So it talks about things like the different seasons in your relationships, how you can go from being less, if you're a woman, being less masculine and focusing on the feminine side, and if you're a man, being less masculine and focusing on the feminine side. So what it's trying to say is you should be balanced in your energy. If you want to meet someone and you want to be married, it's talking about how you need to recognise when you're being way too masculine as a woman, and if you're a man, when you're being maybe too feminine. But it also balances that out by saying that different people are looking for different things. So you could be looking for a man that's more gentle and more feminine. You could be, as a woman, a man, you could be looking for a woman that you want to be more masculine. So it's all down to what you're seeking, but also who you're being as well. So this was a brilliant book. I mean, it is quite lengthy. It is quite in-depth. I've read the whole book. But it's really good. I really enjoy it because I think it just gives you lots of tips, lots of ideas of how you can improve. It's more personal development, and I love any book that's personal development stuff. So this is another one of my favourites, and it's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff in Love, and it's by a married couple. I don't know if they're still married now, but it's Richard and Chris Carlson. The book is really good because it has short, sharp chapters, and it's everything from how to get the fun back in your relationship, how to not take things too seriously, how not to be high maintenance in the relationship, how not to belittle the other person. I've used this book a lot in my counselling therapy, couples counselling, because there's lots of things that people can relate to. It makes it easy. So if you're a couple, you could sit down and read 1 chapter of this each night, and you could get some real good tips, and you could then put them into practice. I just like the way it's written. I like the way that it gives, regular examples. There was one example she was giving in where they were in a car. This is the couple who wrote the book, and he was criticising her about something or the other, and she just thought, why out of everything do you have to mention that one thing? We've had a really good day and you had to say that. And she was quite open and honest with him and said, I'm not sure why she didn't say it in that way. She communicated to him that she was upset and hurt, and then they resolved it. They were able to talk through it. So it talks about open communication, talks about bringing the fun back into the relationship. There's so many things it talks about. This is just a really good book. I'm glad I bought it. and I'm glad I can recommend it to couples. So 2 more, because you can't really do book reviews that are not lengthy normally, but I don't really want to make like an hour-long video. I'll probably do some separate videos about these books later on. This is a book that was recommended to me as a counselling book that would be helpful for couples, and it's called Why Men Don't Listen and Women Can't Read Maps. It's by Alan and Barbara Pease. I love reading books that are by couples because they are giving their experience as a couple, so they're not, saying we're talking about this topic but we're not married. They're giving you proper examples. It talks about how men and women's brains are wired differently. So the reason it's got such a interesting title, Why Men Don't Listen and Women Can't Read Maps, is because it just talks about how our brains are functioning. Now, there's a lot of people that have read this and thought that it was quite sexist because they're saying it's patronising, it's saying that men are better at reading maps and stuff. For me, I didn't see it that way because I'm quite a traditional person anyway. I'll get my brothers to check my car for me. I'll get my brothers to do DIY and stuff, and I don't know how to use a drill. I don't want to know how to use a drill. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm your typical woman that will do woman things and let them out, and that doesn't suit everyone. But these types of books are just useful sometimes because they'll help you understand sometimes how a man sees things and how a woman sees things, and that's all we really need to know. We don't have to take everything on board. We might not agree with it, but I really enjoyed reading it because it just gave me different perspectives. It talks about how women feel differently, how men go into problem solving a lot of times, and sometimes where that's not what a woman wants. And it's just a good book, so I liked it. And the final one, and I've also done a separate book review of this book, is called Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti. And this book is by Bill and Pam Farrell, and it says underneath, understanding and delighting in your differences. So similarly to the book I've just mentioned, this book talks about how we communicate different as men and women. I've got another book that's really well known, which are Men Are From Venus, Women Are From Mars, or is it the other way around? I don't know. That was your classic book about different communicating. And what I like about this book is it breaks it down. So the reason it breaks it down as waffles and spaghetti is because it says men compartmentalise things. So if you imagine a man, his brain is like a waffle. So he sticks to one thing at a time. So if he's talking about one thing, then he wants to talk about that and finds a solution. Women are like spaghetti. So spaghetti goes all over the place. And it says that sometimes women will not get to the point. We'll be talking about one thing, then we'll go. And I have to agree that that is sometimes how we communicate. And we're not always aware of it. And this doesn't apply to all men and all women. So what it helps you to do is to understand, if you want to communicate better with a man, then you need to understand what works, what will work for them. So stick to one point, be quite clear, tell them what you want them to do. Do you just want them to listen, or do you want a solution? And the same as with men, if they want to communicate better with a woman, they might need to sit for a bit longer and listen to her going on and on and on and on, and she will get to the point, but you just have to stick with her rather than saying, get to the point, or, oh, you're going on a bit, So it's a really good book. I enjoyed it. I've recommended it to some of my counselling clients. I've used some of the exercises in the book, and I feel really proud because I'm under 10 minutes and that's for a book review. Normally I'd be going on forever. So let me know what you guys think. Have you heard of any of these books? Do you feel that you would purchase any of them? Let me know what you think overall, and have a fantastic day. Take care, and thanks again to all of my subscribers. Bye.